less than a year after Tupac gets killed, Biggie gets killed in LA. Were you involved in this case at all?
No.
Now, I used to always say I solved the Tupac murder. I say it, you know, kind of tongue in cheek. I didn't solve anything. Only law enforcement can solve a case. But I did do Keefe's first interview, and that kind of laid out the whole story. Now, with Biggie's murder, it was always very gray area for me. There was too many different theories, and no one's ever really come forward and put themselves into it. But over the past year or so, talking to multiple people, I keep hearing the same name come up.
Is that Poochie?
Poochie.
Right.
Greg Kading said it's Poochie. Mob James said it's Poochie. Whack 100 said it's Poochie. When I interviewed Vanilla Ice, he also said it was Poochie. Not to say that any of them were actually correct, but you keep hearing the same name. Poochie was a mob pyru who was somewhat affiliated with Suge Knight and Death Row.
Right.
Poochie is now dead. Whack 100 said that Eric Von Zip was the one who hired him. You know, I don't know about that part. But do you believe that Poochie killed Biggie? Because the other theory was there was a Muslim guy, you know, a guy with a bow tie, Amir Muhammad, I think, you know, who has come forward and said, I have nothing to do with this.
Yeah, I think the Poochie thing, it's the best so far. Phil Carson, if you ever listen to him, he's a nobody. He's just trying to cash in on, you know, what little involvement he had. Who was the detective? The poor guy who had the case.
Russell Poole?
Russell Poole had so many problems, you know, like he retires a year before, he quits basically a year before retirement. And he's just, you know, this whole thing is, why won't they listen to me? Here's the thing is, I wanted a prosecutor to go forward with a case. I said, we have enough. And they say, no, we're not going to do it. Well, I don't quit then. You know what I mean? I wait. All right. I'll get you some more. We'll wait it out. We'll do this. There's just so many things wrong with that case. Then you had Chuck Phillips got involved in it, and he had his theories, and he, you know, so the whole thing was crazy. LA was a crazy place at that time where police chiefs' daughters were working for Death Row, and, you know, Vegas PD doesn't trust the Compton PD. What a surprise, you know? And here you had these great gang detectives working there, basically had the shit solved back in the day, but no one's going to listen to them because their department screwed up and LAPD screwed up. And, you know, who do we trust, you know? And those guys, Ladd, and they get, you know, those guys really were the real deal. And
I interviewed them.
They don't get enough credit for what they did back then, you know? Can you imagine working in Compton as the gang guys in Compton? That's like nonstop. You don't stop working.
Timothy Brennan and Robert Ladd.
Yeah.
I interviewed both of them. So do you think Poochie was the shooter?
You know, I think that this is probably it. Yeah, I would say so.
And who do you think hired him?
I would have to think that Suge did.
And do you think that it was simply, hey, you guys killed my artist, my top artist, so I'm going to kill your artist just out of sheer revenge and pettiness?
Absolutely.
I mean, it makes a certain amount of sense.
Yeah.
I mean, Suge is the kind that will never actually talk, so we'll never really know.
What's convenient about all these cases is everybody's dead. You know,
Suge is still alive.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, the shooters are dead. If these witnesses had to take the stand, I think this poor woman, I think she'd be reluctant.
Suge's baby mother, I think, cooperated with Greg Kading, and that's what she laid out, but it's a bit fuzzy.
You know, yeah. I don't like the fact that these people got outed. I think that's wrong. If I had to unceremoniously leave the NYPD before my time, I wouldn't run and grab my case folder like on, let's say it was a Murder Inc. case or something and we didn't have enough evidence. I wouldn't run out and write a book that exposes all my cooperators and informants. I think it was bad business. And the public doesn't have a right to know about police investigations that could jeopardize prosecutions and everything else, you know? So Yeah, you could talk about guys who are dead, but you can let things out at that point. But whatever. One thing that's funny I wanted to tell you about Puffy to show you what a scumbag he is this kid. I knew all the paparazzi in West Hollywood and Hollywood, and I would be able to give them a call and say, "Could you do me a favor? There's a rap guy. He's going to be at this club in West Hollywood tonight. Could you take a picture of his entourage for me?" So one guy I had doing it was this guy, Woody. He used to call himself the king of all paparazzi. And Woody called me and says, "Hey, Puffy and these guys are threatening to kill one of my friends. He's a paparazzi. He just so happens to be like a limo driver, and he was driving Puffy around, and he happened to meet, Puffy happened to meet Ashton Kutcher and Demi Moore in a hotel. And this is before Bruce Willis knew anything. This is before anyone knew anything. And they're coming out, and a photographer gets the shot. So the next day it's in the papers. So Puffy sends one of his guys to go threaten this paparazzi, saying, "I know you took the picture. You were there. Give us, $100,000 or, you're in trouble." The guy's name who threatened him was Paul Offord. I don't know if you ever heard of that name.
Big Paulie?
Yeah.
That's Puffy's head of security.
Yeah. So Paul said, "You give us money, whatever, give us the camera," because I don't know what you're talking about. So he was threatening him with bodily harm. So anyway, it's easy to check out who sold the picture. They find out a day or two later, it wasn't him. And so I called him. I said, "Do you want to make a complaint?" And he was like, "No, I want nothing to do with this." He goes, "The only reason I wanted someone to know is I thought they were going to hurt me. I thought they were going to kill me." Because that's how scared I was. So, but I mean, it's just little things like that, you don't have enough money. You want a cut of the paparazzi thing, or was that Paul on his own? I don't know. But either way, it's not a good organization to be a part of,